Coming live from Blaine, Washington, USA is our guest this morning. Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Helena Smolock, founder and president at Velocity Athletic Training. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thank you, AJ. What a pleasure it is to finally meet each other from one end of the world to the other. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And thank you so much for coming on to the show. And we'll be talking about something very important is optimal nutrition that is very important, especially now. Now, Helena, you first tell us about your company. What exactly is Velocity Athletic Training about? Because you are a fitness, athletic, and nutrition influencer, and you are the right person to talk about nutrition. So let's understand more about why should the audience understand things in the way that you are telling, so that once they know about their background, they would know that it's coming from an authentic person who knows about these things.
Yes, absolutely. Velocity Athletic Training is actually a personal training company, which I started in British Columbia, Canada. I am Canadian, born and raised there, and now living in Blaine, Washington, as a PR status, green card. And so Velocity Athletic Training, the word athletic at times throws people off. They think it's strictly athletic that I deal with. Not so. It's fitness with an athletic twist to it. So, meaning that in the first 3 months, and this is my procedure, my policy in my company, the first 3 months, I work on the physiological adaptations with the client, no matter what their background is. That first 3 months to me is very important to develop your strength, your flexibility, endurance, whatever your goals are. Some people have different goals as well, so we work around those goals. And after the 3-month period, I start to add in, and I only do this when I know the client is actually fully ready to start adding in some athletic training. It could range from a variety of things: skipping, plyometric training. It's just added into the program, so it relieves the client from being bored. And I've seen it time and time and again where clients go on a program and they're doing the same thing 3 times a week or 4 times a week. And it's so easy to lose sight of your goal when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So with the athleticism in that equation, it reduces boredom. It helps your mind think differently as well. It challenges you as well, and it gives you a motivation to do something new. So that's what Velocity Athletic Training is all about. And it's a lot of fun. We like to have fun, training. I don't believe in the monotony of people coming into the studio and doing the same thing over and over again. There needs to be change, and there needs to be an element of motivation and challenge.
Right, Helena. You have around 40 years of experience in the fitness industry, and you have made a difference for yourself. You have been a personal trainer, into management, fitness leader, and you're also a registered nutritional consultant. Am I right?
Right. Yes.
Yes. And that's why when you talk, you are talking with certain degree of understanding, certain degree of authority. And you have also in a row been nominated in Alignables Business Person of the Year
Yeah.
2021 and
Yes.
most recently in 2022. What is that alignable business person of the year?
Well, Alignable is a social media, or well, it's a small business platform. It's a platform where you go on there and you're meeting other small businesses, and it's very very effective because let's face reality, the concept of small businesses surviving right now. I'm sure a lot of people out there would agree with me that there is a much greater challenge for small business to survive. So Alignable really helps that networking concept. You get on there, and I've built up. I've got a lot of connections in British Columbia. Um, Business associates, former clients, and they all gathered and voted for me, and it was lovely. It was actually, some of the testimonials were very touching as well, because as a trainer, you don't hear it often unless my system is I have my clients evaluate my service. They also have an opportunity to evaluate me. So when they have that opportunity and I read their testimonials, it's very, it touches my heart, because here we are. I'm helping them achieve a healthy mind, body, soul, um, and to eat healthy. I'm teaching them. I'm a leader for them, and they look up to you. So when you read these testimonials, and it coming out of how many people are on that platform, in 2022, I was ranked at number 4,
Right.
across the US. And so it was, I didn't know how to, I really don't know how to explain the feeling.
I,
Other than, excuse me, other than that, it really got me emotional. Here, reading some of the things that um, my group of people had written about me, and so it's very very touching. Alignable is a great opportunity for any small business to be on there. It's rewarding. It's interacting. There's opportunity to present your events as well. So it has its benefits, and it's almost as well a platform that, as a small business owner, you feel it's almost like a safety, because there's others that are small business as well. They're not huge corporations. So I enjoyed it. I really do enjoy Alignable. I enjoyed ranking number 4 in the United States.
right.
Thank you.
Right. And in fact, that's why I wanted to understand from, especially, you are a woman entrepreneur, and uh, any sort of an acknowledgement is it adds to that, inspiration for a lot of people, not just around you, but now that you are also doing an interview on the KJ Masterclass Live, it also adds to the inspiration to a lot of people worldwide, and especially in
Yeah,
India, when women are trying to get more into workforce, into other
yeah,
areas of life, and that helps, and this sort of understanding, because you see, even in athletic training or fitness training or nutritional training, it's also about business. If you don't create an entrepreneurship
absolutely.
model around it, and then you won't survive for long, if you really because you need to scale up also for at some point in time, and make your message effective and wider. That's one of the
Exactly.
things. So yes.
Yes. One of the things I think that has really helped me is that my parents were entrepreneurs. So they owned restaurants. And I had no choice on Saturday mornings when my father would wake me up and have me go work with him at the restaurant. I mean, what better training can someone receive? Uh, just understanding the importance of, getting up and just doing it, just keep plugging away. I think that's one of the biggest challenges right now for everyone around the world, is that if you're a small business, let's face reality, it is being pushed aside. And we're getting a lot more of the corporate entities entering, and sort of, so we need to, not just have to, we need to stay positive. You need to believe in your business, and you need to believe that you will be successful. And you never really stop learning. I mean, I've had to learn all about technology because my business is based on the concept of in studio, one to one, in a trusted environment. That's my concept. Now, with the changes that have happened, everything's gone virtual. So I don't do online personal training because of that. I will lose the essence of my business that way. I have to be in front of my client. I need to correct my client. I need to motivate them. I respect their privacy. So to me, the technology aspect of it, I don't go along with it. I'm just being patient that one day I'm going to have my studio one to one, live in person. But I do other things online that build the business. And I had to, when I moved into the US, I came into the US, to be with my husband, and basically no client base. So I had to sit back and think, what can I do? And had to change my strategy, my business plan. I had to tweak it, to adapt to the new way. And the new way is doing this. I started to interview people on Velocity Athletic Training Radio.
Right.
Um, and I just had to keep going and going, and never, ever give up. People will, as you climb, as you flourish, and as you um, know that people are reaching out to you and they're recognizing what you're doing, you're always going to have others coming around saying, why are you doing this? What for? You're going to have that. You need to look past those negative comments, and especially on social media, right? People can say whatever they want now on social media. So you got to look past all that.
Right, right. And the best way to deal with negativity is your fitness, because fitness makes you not
Yes.
only physically fit but mentally fit, and that is where you
Exactly.
focus. But one thing I wanted to understand, you focus on optimal nutrition. Your parents
Yes.
were into restaurant business.
Yeah.
You should be telling people to eat more. Here you are telling to them to eat something very fit and healthy. So how did this journey begin, and why didn't you go into a nutrition business, into a restaurant business, something very very well set entrepreneurship would be there, but you are here doing things on your own
Yes.
and achieving things on your own. How did it start? Where did it start?
Well, I grew up in that restaurant business, right? That was my parents. Um, and it's actually not just my parents, it's my whole family.
Right.
Everybody has a restaurant or a grocery store in Ottawa. That's where I was born and raised in Canada. And so, yes, I grew up in that environment. But, my background, my parents are Lebanese. So our food is very healthy. We have the hummus, we have the tabbouleh, we have the very much like your food too. The I love your food. The curries, and that's all so good for
Right.
you, and the herbs and the spices.
Right.
So I grew up with a lot of that because my mother would cook that way. Did we eat restaurant food? Well, my dad would bring home a pizza now and then. Um, so it wasn't really a huge part of our uh, diet because we would have the Mediterranean diet. the lemon, the garlic, all that baklava, all that stuff. So it was really in me to eat well. Um, Now, with fitness, now back when I started in, say, 1983, the big boom, the aerobics boom, the high impact classes, low impact classes, that's all we did. And in fact, we didn't really worry about what we ate because we were so active. So we
Right.
ate, we
Absolutely.
did eat healthy, but back then, that wasn't a huge issue. Now, over the years, as we know, the food chain has changed. We have, genetically modified foods, pesticide use on the soils and the plants. So the times have changed drastically. And because of that, now in 2003, while I was still in Canada, in Langley, British Columbia, I went out, I did some market research to find out more about what consumers were concerned about. And I tallied up, I interviewed 100 people in the mall. And once I was finished, their main concern was, and they kept on questioning, was nutrition. The consumer is confused. I mean, just think, if you go to a mall or even a drugstore now, you've got how many different products, right? Or you go to your grocery store,
Right.
um, and plus as well, regulations are different. Canada has different regulations. The United States has different regulations, what they allow, what they don't allow. So consumers are more confused more than ever. So I set in place, I thought, okay, you know what? It ties all in together. Fitness, nutrition, what we put in our bodies is really important, as you know. Um, so I went ahead and did my, it was what, 2 years at Alive Academy, got my applied nutrition. I did 1 year at Simon Fraser. I wanted to get the scientific aspect as well. And there I was doing, offering nutritional consultation with the fitness aspect as well. Now, a lot of people do not know how to eat. A lot of people, may be different now. Their first intake is a cup of coffee
Many
sitting
of
at
them,
work.
even on podcast, I see when there is a early morning. Most of the time it's evening guests for me, but
Yeah,
morning guests in the US or India, and I see them with a big cup of coffee. Mostly it looks like to be coffee, and that's what I concur
yeah,
with you here.
yeah. And um, one of the first things we would have, my father would always make scrambled eggs. And there is a dish in the Mediterranean diet. They use it involves lamb meat in some way. I don't eat lamb meat. I don't eat red meat. But my dad would mix it in with the eggs, but somehow it was good. So, they didn't have degrees, right? They believed in gardening. They believed in getting fresh milk from, my mother would make cheese, homemade yogurt. And they would go to the farm, get the milk straight from the cow, from the farmers, and she would make yogurt and cheese. Um, she would make ghee. Did I say that right? She
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect.
she would buy, when the butter was on sale. She had us all go in and buy 5 pounds of butter ghee out of that. And my parents didn't have degrees in nutrition or anything like that. They were even composting. So they
So
already knew the importance of gardening, how much nutrition. You pull that cucumber or the bean off that stalk right there at that second, as soon as you put it in your body, you are getting the most valuable active nutrients in your body. That's what
right,
I grew up
right,
with.
Helena. But you see, a lot of people cannot afford gardening. Many people are working couples and all across the world. But you are in the US, and a lot of also audiences in the US apart from in India. Uh,
Hmm.
but everywhere I see, the first thing is the cup of tea or coffee. So, what would you tell as a nutritionist, registered nutritional consultant, and running a who talks about optimal nutrition and who talks about fitness? What is your understanding? What would you tell them to start a day with, and how to achieve optimal nutrition in their lives?
Well, breakfast is the most important meal of your day. And I've heard all excuses. I've heard all excuses as to why, my clients would not eat breakfast. And I would always say, if you skip breakfast, you're just going to later on in the day eat more. And people tend to eat more at night, right? You're sitting down in front of it used to be the couch potato syndrome. Now we can
Yes.
call it the desk potato syndrome because people are working remotely now, right? So, breakfast. Now, if you're having a cup of coffee, just think first of all how much it's costing every day to have that cup of coffee if you're going waiting in a lineup. But there are alternatives now. There's a product that I'm trying. It's called Rise, and it's mushroom coffee. And
Okay.
I'm telling you, you can't even tell the difference. And it tastes delicious. It's got a taste between um, coffee and hot chocolate. But you know what? It's helping my immune system, it's keeping me energetic, and there's no crash. Now, with caffeine, caffeine is known to be an addiction. So
Right.
those people that you're talking about, they're just addicted to coffee. Now you take that coffee away from them, and they will.
This is not coffee. This is pure warm water. That's it.
Well, there's something about that. You know, so in the morning you should have some form of protein. If it's a
Right.
shake, if you don't have time to, sit down with your family and have a breakfast, have a shake.
Okay.
Buy a high quality protein powder. If you're vegetarian, there's a lot of vegetarian sources out there now um, that you can easily make a shake with. Ingest that, and that should carry you over until lunchtime. Now you hear about this fasting and this and that. Um, we won't get into that because I think what's happened in this industry, AJ, is that it has blown up so fast that you have all these various different fad diets. And the one thing that I tell my clients, especially women, is that you have to first understand what your body is doing, what your body is about, and then address the issues of weight loss, weight gain, and all that. Um, and keep it simple. How did our
Absolutely.
grandparents do it? Right? They ate simple.
Absolutely.
They didn't, oh, I'm going to go on this diet. I'm going to they didn't do that. They ate healthy. They ate nutrient dense food. Now, in terms of a garden, you can make time to have a garden. It's just where your priority is. You don't have to go out and buy a big piece of land and have a farm. That's not what you have to do. But
Yeah.
you can, you know, uh, my husband always says, "Oh, let's plant tomatoes. Let's do this. Let's do that." Um, my mother had a huge garden at the side of the house. My grandmother, my grandfather as well. You can start off small, but start your day off with protein. Cut back on the coffee. Take it a experiment. If you stop drinking coffee for 3 days and just see what happens, the mood swings, right? And then the crash. And some people experience headaches. So, are you doing justice to your body, to your health? Not really. A cup of coffee every day is not doing justice to your health and wellness, except maybe putting stress on your adrenal glands as well. So, protein in the morning, healthy snacks. I wrote an article. It's called the Death Potato Syndrome, because this is what we're all dealing with now.
Right.
What's happening?
Right. Right,
I
Helena. So,
posted the question.
thank you. Thank you. So, in terms of, is that optimal nutrition? Is that if one does just the simple things, that should be enough, isn't it? Don't need to understand.
It's good to start off with baby steps. You know, I mentioned earlier about the fad diets. Some of these fad diets that you get, some people get right into it and then they've lost the weight and then they're off the fad diet and they've gained twice of the body weight back. So start off with baby steps. If you can't go out without your coffee for the first day, okay, have that cup of coffee. But the next day, try to say to yourself, okay, I'll have a shake instead. You know, I'm in the US right now, and there are so many products, so many types of whey powders out there. Do your research or contact a registered nutritional consultant and get what will work for you. Now, thankfully, I'm very honored to be part of, it's called Pure Genomics. So,
Okay.
with pure encapsulations. So, what is that about? That is plugging into your genotype, finding out what your body type actually is. And I'm telling you, what a difference. It opens up your eyes to how your body works. So, for example, I'll use myself. I'm the mesomorph. I'm a power athlete. So, my body type loves carbs. It metabolizes carbs greatly. I use it up fast, but my body does not metabolize caffeine very well. What a
Right.
game changer that is, right? So, with 23andMe, you send in the kit, you get your results, and with Pure Genomics, I will take those results, plug it into my software, and it lists everything that you should be eating and what you should not be eating, and whether you can have coffee or not. Sometimes what you could be doing more harm than good, right?
Right. Right, Helena. Great. Great. You talk about this stuff, and it's all upon individual choices that people
Yes,
make. But one thing is very much sure that if you know more about your body type, you'd be in a
yes,
better position to understand.
yes.
That's what I do. If I don't feel like doing something, I don't do it. If I feel like there is a craving, there is a. But the fact is that you got to understand your ancestors better and how they survived and lived long, long
Exactly.
years of life with basics, without
Exactly.
all these things floating around us. Without this, they survived for so many years and better.
Exactly. Something that someone else is doing doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Maybe it works for their body type. Like um, I was a student athlete, youth athlete. I could eat whatever. And so many of my friends would say, how come you don't gain any weight? It's my body type. It's my genetics. The more you understand about your genetics, the more you're going to understand how your body is working. And I truly believe that is the new thing that will be coming out. I believe that functional medicine, natural medicine, I think people are going to start waking up to understanding what's not working anymore, why they're getting sick, and how they can start changing their bodies. Now, the first step, AJ, to all of this, I've trained thousands and thousands of clients, corporate clients as well. The first step is what's going on up here in your mind. Do you want to remain, like, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be energetic? Do you want to exercise? Do you want to eat healthy and be strong? It all stems from your mind.
Right, right, Helena. Uh, One thing I wanted to understand, is that, and I've seen several cases that's been reported in Indian media, other places also among friends and all. And because you are a fitness trainer, know about nutrition, I wanted to understand from you that in several cases it's been reported that somebody who was say 50 plus or something, exercising on the treadmill, running on the treadmill,
Mm,
suddenly feels unease,
mm,
that goes off it, and then there is a report of a heart attack or something related to that. Now,
mhm,
is it
mhm.
related in your experience? How have you do you see that? Because these number of cases are there. Now, you, I'm not a doctor, but as a individual from a fitness sort of a thing, I would want to understand if there is any connection that you have ever understood from your perspective as a trainer, or is it related to something else? The main thing is, what should people who are using uh, treadmills, either
Mm.
at home or at gymnasiums, or what should they be cautious about? Not only about the type of exercise they do, but also about their bodies. Can you shed some light on this?
Absolutely. One of the most important things, I don't know what the regulations are around, other countries in relation to evaluating a client. So the first step, and I'll give you an example. When a client comes to me, my first step, it's an hour consultation. It's not a 45-minute thing. We go into detail about they have to fill out the questionnaires. So here in Canada and in the United States, this form actually was created in Canada by university professors. It's called the PARQ form. So this form is a questionnaire where the client has to answer all these questions, and it's related to, is there any family history of heart disease, cancer, et cetera, et cetera. So if they answer yes to even one of those questions, my requirement is they have to get a doctor's note. So, for instance, if they've had, say, their mother has had a heart attack, or the father, there's obviously a lineage, something in the genetics. I make sure they have to go see a doctor, get their, blood pressure tested, some blood work done, just to make sure there is no high blood pressure. Okay,
Okay.
high blood pressure is a leading cause of death. It's a silent killer. This is what we know about high blood pressure.
And
So if
on the treadmill, does it?
someone that does have high blood pressure and doesn't know that they have it, and does get on a treadmill, and just decides, oh, I'm going to run at whatever speed, they can have a heart attack. Absolutely. So the questionnaires to rule all that out, and from that we work on. Now, say they do have high. Okay, for instance, I've had a lot of clients with high blood pressure. So we work on the idea of not to go too much too fast. So on
Okay.
a treadmill, perfect example. You know, I'm not going to put them on the treadmill and put the speed at 5.0. Now that's something I would run at. Okay, I'm conditioned to do that. I'm not going
Right.
to do that for a client. So a client, we would start off at, you know, just a brisk walk, and I do what we call the talk test. So after a while, I'll start talking with them to see if, you know, they're okay, they're not out of breath, because that could be a sign for me right there that, okay, I got to slow it down a bit for them, because it's putting too much demand on the cardiovascular system. So once we fine tune the speed that they should be going at, um, we work at that level for at least 2, 3 weeks. And then I'll know, okay, let's put you up a bit more. We're going to increase your speed, or even the incline. Get them to walk up a little hill on the treadmill. And from there, okay, they're okay. I can talk to them. They're not out of breath. It doesn't look like they're going to faint on me or anything like that. Uh, we walk with it. We work through it. Now, these stories could be that the individual didn't seek the proper advice from anybody, especially if it's their first time doing it, right? Getting on a treadmill. Oh, I'm going to run. I feel good. I'm going to run. But in reality, they may have had some underlying issues. So this is the system that I follow with my clients to prevent that type of thing from happening. So I take it very seriously. If a client says to me, "Oh, I've had a heart attack," you know, if they marked yes on the questionnaire right away, I say, "Okay, let's, you know, clear it with your doctor that you're ready to start exercising." So that's my policy. This is how I deal with it in
Right.
terms of, yeah.
Right, Helena. So, and is it a good idea while on the treadmill? I see some people putting on their earphones, either talking to somebody on the
Oh
phone
yeah.
or listening to music. Is there a difference on both, or should someone music is okay, but talking to others is not good, or they should avoid both the things? What is your advice in a situation like that, especially
Something
if
like
it's on?
that. It, I truly believe something like that would be, again, going back to speaking with a trainer, someone that's qualified to ensure that you are okay to be, you know, wearing your headphones and talking to someone. Um, you know,
Because your mind gets distracted if you
yeah.
are, and it's
Oh,
a treadmill.
absolutely. Absolutely. And when you have a trainer, you know that the trainer is helping you focus. They're motivating you. So having that person there for, you know, whatever time, a month or 2 months, just to help you get everything in motion, it helps you. It keeps you centered. And like you said, you know, when you're on the treadmill and you're talking to someone, and you could lose control easily. You can easily lose your footing if you're talking away and you're not paying attention, right? Especially if you go really fast,
Right,
right?
right,
I ran on the treadmill at 6.0.
right.
I
So
will
you
not,
should know.
oh
Right.
yeah, I will not be talking to anybody when I'm running that fast on a treadmill.
Yeah,
No,
even I'm not comfortable at all. So for me, there is no choice at all. Means I
no,
can live without my phone for several days. It's okay. And people who need to know that I'm without a phone obviously will know about it.
yeah,
We have lived a whole life without phones. There was a
no.
time when there were no phones at all. Yeah,
You
but
know, you're absolutely right. I mean, when I started teaching aerobic classes, AJ, I had a mic in front of me. We had a little stage, and we had the records, the albums, and then it went from albums to the tapes, and now the CDs. So you know, we've really evolved in the way we want to listen to music. And I understand that because moving to music is fun. And I know that because I've taught people, to jump and do push-ups, jumping jacks, and we're moving to music. So I understand that concept of wanting to have the music playing in your head, right? But yes, you have to be safe about it. You got to be careful. Absolutely.
Right, right. So people need to know what speed is
Yes.
good for them and suits them. Now,
Yeah.
about people who are immobile, they are at no movement at all. What about them? The couch potatoes and the desk potatoes, how do you set them rolling outside their house? What would you tell them why movement is important for them?
Well, I've had clients like that as well. So one of the things with that mindset, they're usually lazy.
Yeah, but it's, you see, Helena, it's
I can
because of
describe it.
COVID
They're,
sort of stuff. People have been in houses and there was
yeah,
no way out. But now there is some
yeah.
respite out of that. So how do you look at this part also?
That, training that type of clientele, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's not just the challenge of being overweight. There's a challenge, there's an emotional challenge, there's a mental
Okay.
challenge as well. And I'm not trying to make it sound negative. There are issues that go on that, whether it's a personal issue that hinders, we know that any personal issues hinder us, right? So if we're carrying around sadness, depression, and all that, it affects us. So I had a few clients like that, and what I would do with them is keep them motivated. Tell them how important they are, because sometimes what can happen in life is that people don't tell you they love you, or you're not important to them. So depending on the emotional stability or the level of emotional maturity, some people hold on to things. So um, I like to get tap into that and help people with that and deal with it um, through exercise. And it's amazing, when I had my studio set up and I had my punching bag and I had gloves, and I'd say, okay, put the gloves on. I would hold the bag and I say, pretend whoever it is that you're mad at, their face is on that punching bag. So, and it's amazing that once they do that type of drill, all of a sudden this different person comes out. They're stronger and they're more serious about the session. So with people that are couch potatoes or desk potatoes, um and it's happening with all of us, right? We're sitting in front of our computer, and there's snacks, and we're snacking, and uh so you need to step away, find, whether it's a personal trainer or a partner, a buddy system, your best friend, your sister, whoever. Buddy up and let's, say to each other, okay, let's go out for a walk. You challenge me. I'm going to run up the hill, or I'm going to walk up the hill, or do speed walking. Grab a set of light weights. Okay. Hold them in your hands. Walk with that adds some resistance. Find someone that will, you guys motivate each other. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, yes, wonderfully, wonderfully. And a lot of people who are everywhere else, but they want to connect with you to understand more about fitness, about nutrition. How can they do that so that they can benefit directly from you? After all, it's just a show for half an hour show, and you can learn only as much as is possible. But
Yeah.
to get direct attention from the master is something else.
You may visit me at www.velocityathletictraining.com. You can reach me through the website. There's a subscribe button, or you can actually email me at iwin, and trust me, you will win. iwin at velocityathletictraining.com.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Helena, for your
Oh,
time,
thank
for your
you, James.
insights
Thank
to
you.
understand so many things. And at the end, I understood that one should always understand the
Yeah,
basics and get to the basics first. Either it's about anything else or it's about your own body.
exactly. Thank you.
Right. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live.
Thank you.